In 1966, an anthropologist packed his bags and disappeared into the highlands of Papua New Guinea. He lived with a tribe called the Kaluli for nearly a decade. No hospitals, no therapists, no antidepressants. And the whole time, he was searching for one specific thing, something he was absolutely certain he would find. He never found it. Out of over 2,000 people, carefully observed, carefully interviewed, he found exactly one person who came close to qualifying. One. In 2000, he was looking for clinical depression. And the question that should stop you completely is this. These people faced starvation, infant death, brutal physical labor, and constant danger. Their lives were harder than yours in almost every measurable way. So why weren't they depressed? Here's what most people assume about depression. They assume it's a brain chemistry problem, a serotonin deficiency, a genetic flaw, something that happens inside the skull, completely independent of how you live. For decades, that's exactly what medicine told us. But there's a completely different explanation, one that's been building quietly in the scientific literature for 30 years. And it starts with an uncomfortable truth. Your brain was not built for the life you're living right now. Think about what your ancestors did every single day. They moved, not at a gym for 45 minutes, all day across forests and plains, carrying things, building things, hunting things. They slept when it got dark and woke when the sun came up. They ate food pulled directly from the earth. And perhaps most importantly, they were never alone. Every morning they woke up surrounded by the same people who knew their name, needed their help, depended on them to survive. There were no strangers, no anonymous cities, no eating dinner alone in front of a screen. Your brain evolved inside that world. Every circuit, every chemical, every emotional system built for exactly that environment. And then, almost overnight in evolutionary terms, that world disappeared. Now here's where it gets strange. Scientists have known for a long time that depression involves the immune system. That's not a metaphor. When your body detects a serious threat, a wound, a pathogen, an infection, it releases a cascade of inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. And those cytokines cross into your brain. They dampen dopamine, kill motivation, make you want to stop moving, stop eating, stop socializing. They make you want to shut down completely. For an ancient human, that response was brilliant. When you're infected, the last thing your body wants is for you to keep burning energy chasing prey. It wants you to rest, conserve every calorie for the immune battle happening inside you. Stay away from your family so you don't spread the infection to your children. Depression, in that world, was a survival program. Your body protecting you from yourself. But here's the problem. That same program, designed for a world of real physical threats, is now being triggered by things it was never designed to handle. Chronic stress, social isolation, inflammatory food, blue light at midnight, a body that never moves, a mind that never rests. The program runs, but there's no infection to fight, and it never turns off. Across nearly every ancient civilization, one pattern keeps showing up. The Kaluli didn't have antidepressants. They didn't have psychiatrists. What they had, accidentally, was a lifestyle that kept that inflammatory cascade from ever spiraling out of control. They moved all day, which produced a chemical called BDNF, a protein that literally grows new neurons in the brain. They ate food that kept their omega-3 to omega-6 ratio balanced. The modern Western diet has pushed that ratio from 1:1 to 20:1 in favor of inflammation. They slept in sync with the sun, which anchored the biological clock that governs your mood, your hormones, your energy levels. And then there was something else, something you cannot put in a pill. The Kaluli had a ceremony called the Gisalo. Inside a darkened communal longhouse, guest dancers would perform, singing deeply nostalgic songs about rivers, forests, and the lands of the dead. Songs specifically designed to break your heart open, and as the hosts wept, as grief came pouring out of them, they would reach out and burn the shoulders of the dancers with pine torches. It sounds violent, but look at what it actually was. A structured communal ritual for releasing pain. A system that said, "Your grief is real. Your sorrow belongs here. Bring it into the open, and we will hold it with you." No suffering alone at 2 in the morning, no quietly falling apart where no one can see, and the Kaluli were not alone. In Tanzania, researchers studied the children of the Hadza, a hunter-gatherer tribe whose lifestyle mirrors what all humans lived for most of our existence. They measured the same psychiatric conditions we track in Western children: emotional disorders, behavioral disorders, anxiety. What they found was extraordinary. 0. The rate of emotional and behavioral disorders among Hadza children was 0%. Compare that to England, where the same diagnostic tools found those conditions in over 11% of children. Same species, same brain, completely different outcome. And then consider what Hadza mothers experienced. In the modern world, postpartum depression affects up to 15% of new mothers, one of the most common psychiatric conditions on Earth. But among the Hadza, researchers found no statistical correlation between postpartum depression and social support. Not because support didn't matter, but because every single mother already had it. Hadza infants were held, comforted, and cared for by up to 20 different people in a single day. A new mother in that world was never left alone with an infant, and no sleep, and no help. The community closed around her automatically. Postpartum depression is not an inevitable biological risk. It is what happens when you remove the village. So let's be clear about what we're actually talking about. Modern depression is not a new kind of sadness. It is an ancient protection system, stranded in a world it cannot recognize, running on a loop with no infection to fight and no tribe to return to. Your brain is not broken. Your world is. The Kaluli felt grief and rage and fear just as intensely as you do. They lost children, buried friends, faced dangers you will never face. But their suffering had somewhere to go. It had a ceremony, a community, a fire, a body that moved, a sky they slept under. The modern version of that suffering has nowhere to go. So it stays, and compounds, and eventually gets a clinical name. You don't need to abandon your life and move into a forest, but your brain, this ancient, extraordinary, deeply social organ, was built to expect certain things from the world around it. Movement, real light, genuine connection, purpose that means something to the people standing next to you. The research is overwhelmingly clear on what happens when it gets those things, and the research is equally clear on what happens when it doesn't. Ancient humans solved depression without ever knowing what it was, because they were living in the exact conditions the brain was designed for. The science has caught up now. The question is whether we will.